Welcome back to Limbus Company, new identity overview, and patch note analysis. This time we've got not one, not two, not even three, but four identities to look at, all for the Blade Lineage event, to yield my flesh to claim their bones. Alongside information about the events itself, and just whatever they're doing with the anniversary event. But yeah, let's just get started with the first of the 2 stars, that being Blade Lineage Xiaosu, Don Quixote.
병으로 마시나 잔에 따라서 마시나 결과는 같은 것 아니오? 왜 검 외의 것에 그리도 집착하는지. 그런 것보다 흑운에 그 작자들이 뭘 작성하고 있는지 들어야 하지 않겠는가? 검을 잔뜩 휘둘러 버렸네. 이 정도로 상쾌하고 개운한 기분이면 그 고리타분한 이야기도 웃으며 들을 수 있겠지.
Blade Lineage Don Quixote, as it showed in the trailer, this is the 2-star that you're going to be able to get from actually getting the event rewards. You build up enough of the currency that we'll talk about later, and you'll just be able to get this unit for free. So you'd assume it would be just, a pretty standard one, but it actually does seem like a not bad poise unit. Because this is a very support-oriented poise identity. Let's just get into it with the skills. Skill 1, Draw of the Sword, 2 coin, Pierce, Pride skill. At a certain amount of poise, coin power plus Y, gain poise count, and gain poise with both coins. There's really not much to say. I say it every time, and that's because it is true every time. You want a skill 1 that gives you poise count with poise IDs. Hopefully, it's like a 2 poise count, maybe 3 if it's insanely lucky. Probably just 2, though, just in order to keep it neutral. 2 coin skill 1s can also be a bit iffy for poise IDs if they don't have enough poise count to balance it out, since then it might just spend more than they gain. Then the skill 2, Blade Arc, 2 coins / envy skill. At a certain amount of poise, gain poise cower. On use, gain poise count once again. Assumably, it's also going to be like a 2 poise count gain here to keep it neutral. First coin just gains poise on hits, still standard stuff. But the second coin on crit, to one ally either with no poise or with the least poise, apply poise. If the affected ally is from the Blade lineage, apply additional poise. So she can just effectively spend a crit to just give an ally who needs poise more poise. Assumably, the one with the least poise means the one with the lowest poise potency, if everyone has poise. And, that'll be pretty nice just to make sure that whoever is kind of doing iffy on poise. For example, if you got one ally who accidentally ran out of count because they were being managed properly, you can just give them a little bit more poise potency to try and build that number up a little quicker using a skill like this. And then Dawn's skill 3, Fare Thee Well, 3 coins / sloth skill. At X plus poise power plus Y, she has this for all of these. And on use, gain poise potency. On heads hit, the final coin does more damage. Heads hit, the final coin does more damage on the first 2 coins. So a similar effect to, think something like Chef Ryoshu, where she just keeps on building up power for the final coin of her skill 3. But then the third coin gains damage on critical hit, as you'd expect. On crit to 2 allies with no poise or least poise count, apply poise count. So this, of course, a very good effect. Allies with least poise gaining poise count, well, that means they're gonna need poise count. Yeah, I'm not explaining that well at all, but I mean, just think about that. We'll have to see just how good her damage output is, how good her rolls are, but that effect is very nice. If the effect allies from Blade lineage, apply additional poise count, and if you manage to kill with this attack, you get flash damage up to self and 1 random other ally next turn. So a pretty nice effect, that's for sure, just being able to build up poise count for allies. It's kind of shocking that this is the free unit, because so far the tendency has been the past 2 event 2 stars have not been great, because that was Chef Gregor and Molar Boatworks Sinclair. And, yeah, they've got a lot of flaws, but this one seems not too bad. We'll have to see, they might ruin it by giving her awful rolls, but she gains coin power from poise for all 3 of these skills, so who knows. Going on to the defensive skill, Pride Evasion. It's nice to have a Pride Evasion or a team like this. Blade Lineage kind of seems to be really leaning towards a little bit of Pride Absolute Resonance. Not insanely, they just kind of want Absolute Resonance in general, as we'll get to later with the main ID, the main star of the show. So it's nice to just be able to pull out a Pride skill whenever you want. Passive Collective Breathing. When the unit gains poise potency with its own skill or coin effects, you also give poise potency 1 ally with no poise or the least poise potency. Similar effect to that skill 2 thing. And she gains poise potency with her skill 1's first and second coin, and her skill 2's first coin, alongside on use for her third skill. So no matter what skill you use, you will give just some poise potency, some allies with passive. Wouldn't be surprised if this can be a Pride Resonance passive, but even if so, that's probably fairly fine if you're running full Blade lineage. And the support passive, Nightly Stroll, when out of least poise, gains more poise potency when gaining poise potency with its own skill or coin effects. Kind of very similar to Blade lineage Yisong's skill, but for potency instead of count. But yeah, pretty solid for just pretty much free 2-star. Of course, I mean, I say free, you're gonna have to grind a little bit in order to actually get the identity, but it's very nice, that's for sure. But anyways, let's move on to the 2-star that isn't free, that being the only non-Blade lineage identity we're getting for this event, Kurokumo clan captain, Gregor.
야, 출정조. 이런 거는 딱 한 잔 돌려가면서 마시고서 끈끈한 우정을 안고 가는 거야. 왜 이렇게 답답하게 굴어? 그래? S사에서 넘어온 떠돌이가 저것들이라고? 애들은 다 준비해뒀겠지. 이곳이 누구 영역인지 확실히 각인시킨다. 알겠?
Kurokumo clan captain Gregor, is... How do I say this nicely? It's just a better Chef Gregor. It feels like they took Chef Gregor and were like, oh, we need to give Gregor an actually usable bleed identity. It also is probably the simplest of the IDs we're getting today, but it does have a fairly decent bit of stuff to it. So let's get started. Lenticular Rend, skill 1, single coin, Sloth Slash. On use, the target has bleed gain clash power. On clash win, inflict bleed, and on hit, inflict bleed count. Very simple, it's just bleed. Hopefully it'll be in decent amounts. Being able to get a bleed count on with a skill 1 is nice. Bleed count is kind of a little iffy sometimes, especially if you're running like Kurokumo. Then you might not have like a lot of N-Corp stuff, you might not have not a lot of nails. I'm stumbling over my words very much here, but there's just so much thoughts going on here because there's a lot of identities. We're still on the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, skill 2, Shadow Cloud, 2-coin Lust Blunt skill. If the target is bleed, gain clash power, once again. Heads hit inflict bleed with the first coin, and the second coin inflicts offense level down. If the target has a certain amount of bleed, attack power down next turn. This is where like the kind of Chef Gregor elements are coming into play, being all about nullifying the enemy's like power by just inflicting a little bit of offense level down, some attack power down, that sort of thing. It's not quite as powerful as Paralysis, but it's also a little more consistent than Paralysis, and you don't need to worry about it as much. But the Chef Gregor comparisons are going to be frequent for this identity, just because it is another bleed 2-star. But then the skill 3, Shadow Cloud Shattercleave, which is like a tongue twister. Shadow Cloud Shattercleave, Shadow Cloud Shattercleave, Shadow Cloud Shatter... I don't know why I'm doing this when I'm already really bad at reading things as is, and I'm very clearly going to trip over my words. But yeah, 3-coin slash gloom skill. Target is X bleed, gain clash power. Target is X plus bleed, gain coin power. So all 3 of this guy's skills gain clash power on with bleed, and the skill 3 being able to even gain coin power on top of that. First coin, offense level down. If the target has bleed, even more offense level down. Second coin, once again, offense level down. If they've got a certain amount of bleed, even more offense level down. And then the third coin, on heads hit, and just inflicts some bleed. And if the target has a certain amount of bleed, inflict plus coin drop next turn. Third identity to have plus coin drop, following N-Corp, Heathcliff, and Regret Faust. It's a very nice thing to have. It's on a skill 3 here, so it's not as, like, spammable as, like, say, Heathcliff's. But just being able to weaken, on top of the fact you're going to be giving some people so much offense level down, so much plus going drop, a little bit of attack power down. Like, you'll just be able to debuff people pretty notably here. Might be, like, fairly good against stuff like bosses, for example, just being able to weaken them a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if he's actually going to be really good for when we actually get to, like, the Kim boss fight in the actual event. Because it seems like it's going to be like a single body part, like strong enemy. Although who knows, maybe we're going to have to break his hat off. I wouldn't be shocked. Moving on to the defensive stuff. This is like some of the most simplistic stuff we've seen in a long time here. Defense, Lust Guard. Simple enough. It's the exact same as Chef Gregor, by the way. But then the passive, Dark Cloud Blade. On clash win, inflict bleed. Yeah. I mean it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's very simple. Nice to have some simple stuff, especially when we've got the presence looming over us. And the support passive, Dark Cloud Style, when at the slow speed hits an enemy with bleed, inflict offense level down next turn. Cool stuff. Overall, yeah, this definitely feels like it would have been the 2-star that we get from the event and not from the actual extraction itself. But Gregor's already gotten event 1, and I mean, it makes more sense to throw the Blade Lineage 1 in as an actual reward for the Blade Lineage event. It's nice that we're getting something Kurokumo. Kind of wish we got like a 3-star or something for them to match, but that's alright. I think I'm really satisfied with the units we got as is, as we'll get to here. But speaking of the next unit, it's time to move on to one of the 2 3-stars we're getting on the banner. Both of them are being added to the extraction, in case you don't know. But the one that's less relevant is Blade Lineage Faust.
출정 전야는 반드시 고요한 법이죠. 마침 달도 가득 차올랐군요. 홍매와의 꽃잎을 던지고 그 잎들을 조각내는 무예를 연습했던 적도 있었죠. 아름다운 붉은 꽃잎이 사방으로 흩날리는 것은 과히 아름다웠습니다. 꽃은 지고 새로운 나무가 이곳에 움틀 것입니다.
Blade Lineage Faust marks the first time we're seeing a unique status effect since the introduction of unique status effects as a function. We've got Nails as unique bleed, we've got Dark Flame as unique burn, and now we've got Red Plum Blossom as a new unique bleed that is a little bit of a bleed poise hybrid, although it functions as unique bleed logically because it's a debuff, not a buff. Her skill 1 is a 3 coin. It's nice to see a 3 coin skill 1, especially when they can gain coin power with a certain amount of poise. X plus poise, coin power plus Y. On use, gain poise count, as you hope for poise IDs. Heads hit with a second coin, you gain poise. And the third coin, on crit, inflicts Red Plum Blossom. Now, Red Plum Blossom, as it says there, unique bleed, plus X% chance for this unit to be critically hit, so it probably is going to be like a 20% increase to critical hit. So if you just have Red Plum Blossom, you're more likely to be critical hit when you inflict it to enemies, and when struck by a critical hit, gain bleed based on the value, and take more damage from critical hits. So, assumably it's just like a... We don't know exactly how much a critical modifier, we don't know how much bleed gain is. However, if you look down a little bit, you can see the skill 3 does not consume Red Plum Blossom on crit, so assumably this number goes down, maybe 1 every turn, but definitely it'll go down by 1 every time the person with Red Blossom gets crit. But yeah, inflict a little bit of... You'll see there, though, that she basically only inflicts it with crits. Moving on to the skill 2, Acupuncture, 2 coin Pride Pierce skill. At X plus poise, gain coin power plus Y. On use, gain poise count. And the first coin, gain poise count, more damage on critical hit. Nice to see a little bit of damage increase on critical hit on a non-skill 3. Just get a little bit more benefit there. And the second coin inflicts bind next turn, and on crit, Red Plum Blossom once again, requiring you to build up your crit in order to use it. But then the skill 3, Red Plum Blossom Scatter. 2 coin Gloom slash skill, deal more damage based on Red Plum Blossom on target, gain coin power based on poise on self, and on Clash Win, gain half of the poise count on self, then gain poise equal to the point count consumed. Similar to the gimmick with Sank Sinclair being, Sank Sinclair can only build up poise count, and he can use a skill 3 to turn a bunch of it into potency. Although this is half of your count gets converted into potency, so it sounds like it'll be a little more consistent overall, although it definitely could mess you up if you're low on it. She's got a decent bit of poise count gain and a little bit of potency gain, but that's just her skill 1 on the second coin, so she's going to rely on the skill 3 to gain the potency. But as we continue down the skill 3, both the first coin and the second coin, on crit inflict Red Plum Blossom, and if the target has a certain amount of Red Plum Blossom, you inflict Slash Fragility. It's a this turn Slash Fragility, so hopefully she'll be fast and can actually get the Slash Fragility up soon. But getting Slash Fragility on Blade Lineage team is very powerful given how much Slash there is. Moving on to the passives, Defense Redirect, gain final power based on poise on self. It's a Gloom block skill. Simple enough. Final power on poise on self is a minor effect. You're not going to be using defenses a lot, usually, or guard defenses is what I'm trying to say, since, evasion encounters are a lot better most of the time, but there might be times when you just don't have an ego to use, or you just want to let her take the hit, and being able to gain more power. Always nice. But then the passive, Sanguine Plum Blossoms, on crit, inflict Red Plum Blossom. This does mean that if you on crit with like a skill 2 second coin or something like that, you probably inflict 2 Red Blood Blossom, so this is probably, once again, going to be a Pride Resonance passive. I think it's fairly safe to say, since that's going to be a pretty big thing in Blade Lineage here, and being able to inflict just Red Blood Blossom just off of like 5 Pride Owned or something would be a pretty strong effect. and the target has a certain amount of Red Blood Blossom inflict defense level down instead. Assuming this means Red Plum Blossom caps out at maybe... It might cap out at like 5 or something, I wouldn't be surprised, and each like one counts as a 5% increase for the critical hit. And so if the target is already at max, its defense level down instead, so you still get something with this passive. That's just my guess, though. It could be anything. Then the support passive, Lingering Blade Point, when the first ally deployed in the pre-battle team setup critically hits with a slash-type skill, inflict defense level down. They're not even bothering with, like, being like, oh, highest sanity thing anymore, it seems like. They're just being like, yeah, it's the person you deploy first. Because usually that's how it is whenever they do sanity stuff. Since whenever it's a tie, it always goes to the first deployed person. Yeah, very cool. I really wonder... This Red Plum Blossom is a very interesting mechanic. I wonder if we're going to see a actual named character in the mid-chapter that this is very clearly based off of. In the actual art book for Ruina, there were a couple unnamed, unused Blade lineage characters that assumedly were going to be meant in, like, the Kim reception, if it was a non-general reception. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Faust of the Dawn IDs are supposed to be those two. And I guess we'll see. We'll have to see within the events happening. I don't want to theorize too much on the actual story of the event or anything, because that is... not my thing whatsoever. But anyways, time to move on to the scariest ID of the entire update. That being the Blade Lineage mentor, Merso, and his walls upon walls of text.
착수하지 않는 겁니까? 돌을 던질 수밖에 없는 형국. 우리 곧 큰 난이 벌어질 것만 같다. 나는 호의를 부탁받은 몸을 끝까지 지키려 하겠습니다. 어쩌면 S사에서 설 자리를 잃게 할지도 모르겠지. 지켜야 할 그분이나 나와 친구들도 치열했으나 좋은 끝내기였다. 이제 우리의 활로를 찾을 수 있겠군.
God. If you thought Captain Ishmael was bad, like, you are not going to be prepared for this. There's so much going on here. He's got 3 different status effects. He's got 4 skills because he's got, you know, a special skill he uses because he's got Claim Their Bones. Let's just get started. Let's do the first 2 skills first. Let's just not make it all a thing at once, yeah. Okay, so skill 1, Draw the Sword. Also, I just want to point out, skill 1 and skill 2 are Pride, so 5 out of 6 of this guy's skills are Pride attacks, so Pride Resonance seems very likely, especially here. X plus Poise, Coin Power plus 1. Combat Start, apply Swordplay of the Homeland Rending to highest absolute resonance, other Blade Lineage allies in ascending order of speed, slowest to fastest. Now, Swordplay of the Homeland Rending just means that their skill 1s gain final power by the effects count for this turn. Assuming it's going to be like a +1, so all your Blade Lineage IDs that get this effect, and assuming you get like a 5 Pride Resonance or something, it'll probably apply to all of them, gain a +1 to their skill 1s. If you use multiple skill 1s on Merso, it'll probably be like 2, +2, something like that. I wonder if it'll be capped or something, but I don't know. It also seems like it's not going to affect himself because it says other Blade Lineage allies, so he can't, you know, do that. And then if there are X or more allied Blade Lineage identities in the encounter, apply more of the above effect. How swell. On use, gain poise count. On hit, gain poise. On hit, gain poise. Standard skill 1 stuff when you look past the Swordplay of the Homeland Rending thing. But if you thought that was pretty interesting, Swordplay of the Homeland Rending is not the only Swordplay of the Homeland. There's 3 of them in total, as you'd imagine. Well, the first 2 are obvious enough, but the third one's a little different. But yeah, skill 2, Acupuncture. 3-coin Pride slash skill. This being a slash that appears kind of surprised me. That was Acupuncture's like entire gimmick in Ruina. That being it was like a pierce attack that busts slash damage. But I guess they just want to make it full slash for the sake of it. But yeah, X plus coin poise, coin power plus 1, as like every identity here has. Combat Start, apply Swordplay of the Homeland Penetrating to highest absolute resonance, other Blade Lineage allies in ascending order of speed, similar to the first one. Penetrating is just like Rending, except for skill 2, so it's the exact same thing, but it buffs your allies' skill 2s. Could be good for like a stronger damage turn if you've saved some skill 2s or something and just want to use a bunch of them at once. If there are a certain amount of Blade Lineage identities, apply more of the above effect. On use, gain poise count. Clash wins slash power up next turn. First coin gains poise count on hit, and the third coin deals more damage on critical hit. Simple enough. Now, the part that isn't, I mean, I say simple enough, but these are still, like, there's still so much going on here. And we're getting to, like, the main thing here. Yield my flesh to claim their bones. His skill 3 is a single coin wrath slash skill. On use, gain aggro to the skill slot next turn. Until this skill, or the to claim their bones skill ends, this unit cannot be staggered. So when he uses skill 3, he could take like literally any attack, and he cannot be staggered until his counter goes off. Clash win, you gain poise, but if you clash lose, after getting hit, use to claim their bones skill. Just like in Ruina, you lose the clash here, and you will be able to unleash a devastating counterattack. Although unlike Ruina, it happens immediately, instead of being something you just get added to your hand. On crit, deal more damage on critical hit based on poise on self, X plus X% damage on critical hit, deal X% more damage per Y% missing HP on self. So if you do actually win the clash, you'll do like a fair bit of crit damage, that sort of thing. Although you really do not want to win the clash most of the time, it'll seem. But then, defense, to claim their bones, 4 coin, flash, pride skill. Before attack, gain attack weight, based on poise on self. Attack weight! This is gonna be a multiple target counter. Like, one guy, like, hits you with, like, a strong attack, you lose the clash, and then you just kill his entire team or something. It'll probably be, like, a 3-target mass attack, if I had to guess. Probably nothing too insane, although 3-target is still a lot for this attack. Until the skill ends, this unit cannot be staggered, similar to what they're saying with Yield My Flesh. On use, deal more damage based on poise on self, more plus X% damage for critical hit. Deal X% more damage for Y% missing HP on self. Deal more damage if the skill targets only a single enemy / part. So if this doesn't become a mass attack, it gains even more damage potential if it's only hitting like a single target like a boss. And then the first 3 coins, no special effects, and then the 4th coin inflicts bleed and paralysis next turn as like a final, like, got ya. There's so much. It's insane. And there's still more to go through, because there's still a wall of text in the passive. He's got like 4 aspects to his passive. So let's just get to that, why don't we? Overthrow. Envy counter, gain slash power next turn, more damage based on missing HP, and gain poise on hit. It's simple enough. You're not going to use this too much. I mean, you might want to use it for the sake of the slash power, but if you really want to set up a powerful turn. Passive, Swordplay of the Homeland / In Memoriam. This makes me think that it might be 2 different passives, kind of similar to Captain Ishmael had 2 different passives. One of them is just a passive, and the other one's a resonance. Maybe you'll have something like this, where, you know, one of these is going to, some of these are going to be always active, and maybe not. It's probably going to be that very bottom point that's going to be always active. That's probably going to be In Memoriam, and the first 3 points are probably Swordplay of the Homeland, and that's resonance. But we'll have to see. When this unit gains poise potency / count with its own skill or coin effects, give poise potency count to 2 other Blade Lineage IDs with no poise or the least poise, similar to what Dawn was going on. And if there's a certain amount of Blade Lineage allies participating in this encounter, it's even more poise potency and count. Combat start. Apply Swordplay of the Homeland buff to all other Blade Lineage allies. It's a resonance most likely, so whenever you get that Pride resonance, like 4 or whatever, it's going to be, assumably it's going to be a high number to make up for it. But Swordplay of the Homeland, unlike the other 2 Swordplay of the Homelands, if the unit has a certain amount of poise on skill use, their skill 1 and 2 gain coin power and crit damage inversely proportional to their number of coins, and the skill 3 gains damage and crit inversely proportional to the number of its coins. Think something like Lucky Pouch, how it's like 12 power. Like, Lucky Pouch is 12 power divided by the number of coins. It'll probably be something like this, although not to that insane level of 12. I'm curious how much coin power it's going to be then. It'll probably be like something stupid, but we'll have to see. And if there's a certain amount of Blade Lineage allies defeated, these 2 above effects apply to self instead. So if he's just lost a bunch of allies, he just goes full, like, solo mode, and just starts building up his poise whenever he gains poise, and gets Swordplay of the Homeland every turn. It's insane. But then the second part of the passive, which I assume is In Memoriam, is probably going to be an actual passive that doesn't need to be triggered. In this encounter, when this unit takes damage that brings his HP down to 0, nullify that damage, then this unit's HP cannot drop below 0 for this turn. He's got Unrelenting. They've just brought back Unrelenting for Kim. It's incredible. And then you look at the support passive, and there's like 1 line of text. One ally with the most poise at combat start deals more damage on critical hit with a slash type skill. Alright. We thought Captain Ishmael was a lot, and this is a lot. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I absolutely love the walls upon walls of text, but it's kind of insane. And I do not blame you if you do not love this. Anyways, let's get to the actual patch notes itself, starting with the patch notes for the actual, like, event thing. February 22nd, new content, Chapter 5.5, Yield my flesh to claim their bones. So, with the update, new content's being added to the game, new mid-chapter, and there's going to be event rewards. Similar type of stuff as usual. You have like a month to do it, and then a week afterwards to claim your rewards. It says that it's currently displayed with a specific time, but it'll be reflected with the next week's update, so there's something wrong. Or 2 weeks? What day is it? I genuinely have no clue what day it is. 19th. Okay, so next week. I didn't realize it was that late in February already. That's my bad. When the event starts, the mid-chapter will event, you can earn Bloodied Scabbard by clearing mirror damage and the event stages, and you'll get rewards for the Bloodied Scabbard. So as per usual, you can obtain Bloodied Scabbard whenever you complete the combat encounter of Yield My Flesh to claim their bones. Every character's first time reward, and you need to claim even more. The final stage of Yield My Flesh to claim their bones is a repeatable dungeon, and a similar progression to a mirror dungeon. Assumably this is going to be the Young Jin building that they mentioned in the trailer, where Kim is supposed to be hosted. We're simply going to like fight our way through like a bunch of like Blade Lineage, Kurokumo conflict, and then get to the dungeon, which is going to be the Young Jin building. Whatever that is, it's similar in name to Young Ji, but I assume that's just coincidence and it means something else entirely. I don't know Korean though, so maybe I should have researched that beforehand. But yeah, the mirror dungeon is the best way to get Bloody Scabbard, of course. And it's based on Mirror Dungeon 3, Mirror the Lake. So that there's a couple things like that. It acts as, you know, you get 3 appearing ego gifts, it seems. There's some Yield My Flesh Claim Their Bones exclusive ego gifts. Think similarly to the chicken ego gifts from the Hell's Chicken dungeon. Shops show up, that sort of thing. It seems like you just get, like, a decent bit of, like, effectively Starlight rewards for this dungeon without there needing to be a Starlight tree. These are identical unlocking Journey, Star Fruits, Labor, New Discovery, yeah, so on and so forth. But yeah. You can see that during the event period, Yield My Flesh to Claim Their Bones commentary on these events will appear in the Mirror Dungeon. So the actual normal Mirror Dungeon is going to get some random events too occasionally, it seems like, which is really exciting for me, being the Mirror Dungeon daily guy. Upon claiming Mirror Dungeon, you earn Bloody Sack, proportional number of Yield My Flesh to Claim Their Bones encounters, and events you've completed through the run. I assume this is a mistype. I think they're mixing Bloodied Sack with, you know, the Christmas mid-chapter, and they're just trying to say Bloody Scabbard. I might be wrong, but that's probably what it is. It happens. The final floor, you can choose between the previous existing Mirror Dungeon final boss encounters, or you can just fight the Yield My Flesh to Claim Their Bones final boss encounter, aka the Fancy Kim encounter, where he's probably going to be using, like, fancy stuff and whatnot, and it's going to be cool. And if you choose the Kim final encounter, you'll get even more Bloodied Scabbard. Spending hard difficulty rewards for the week will get you more Bloodied Scabbard. It's just saying that the Mirror Dungeon is a pretty optimal way to go as far as getting Bloodied Scabbard for the event. If you not fulfill the event and unlock requirements, you can get Bloodied Scabbard from the first time reward from other main story stuff, so you can still build it up, type on story. It happens. Proportional amount in Keflin spent, regardless of whether you met the EX condition or not, and you cannot obtain it from stages that have already been completed. So if you want to grind, you gotta do it on one of the new ones or Mirror Dungeons. And no Bloody Scabbard from Luxcavations. Sure thing. You've also got a chance to find Resentful Scabbard, which, like this bit they've been doing for a while, you've just got a chance to get 20 more of the resource. Sure thing. It's still very strange. Event bonus identities. As you'd expect, the 4 entities they're adding in this update each are a 30% bonus to the amount of Bloodied Scabbard you get. And any other Blade Lineage or Kurokumo ID that wasn't added to this event and has been in the game since launch is a 20% bonus, so pretty solid. If you run a full team, you'll get a big bonus, although it maxes out a 120% bonus, so having like a full team, you cannot get beyond that point. Unfortunate. That does mean you can just run the 4 new ones, you don't have to run the old ones if you want to. Shame that you can't run the old ones too, because then you could just get like a 220% bonus, right? 240% bonus, like that. Yeah. So you could just run all the old ones, or you could run all the new ones, and that would still be enough to get maxed out that bonus, which is cool. And of course, as usual, they don't need to participate in battle. As long as they're just selected, it'll count and give you the bonuses. Now, event rewards, you can get event rewards, normal stuff. There's like banners. You can see Dawn costs, it looks like Dawn is 500 Bloody Scabbard. You can get, you know, the border, you can get the banner, and that sort of thing. You can get some rewards, some tickets, the usual things. And of course, once the event closes, you'll no longer be able to get it, and then you'll have to claim stuff from the rewards within that week. Simple enough stuff. Now, let's move on to the anniversary patch notes and see what they have to say about the stuff going on for the anniversary. The duration is going to be, starting this week, it seems, as long as you do it within the time. Actually, no, it starts... Yeah, no, it starts with the update, yeah. And before March 21st, they'll update. So as long as you check in each day, you can earn more rewards, more attendance checks you collect. There are special rewards on the 7th and the 14th day. The 7th day being the 10-pull guaranteed 3-star, and the 14th day being the Angela Announcer. So you can see here, you can get a single extraction ticket every day you log in. So days 1 through 6 and days 8 through 13 is probably going to be a single extraction ticket. Nice little reward, it can help. Just build it up, get a 10-pull, that sort of thing. And you can see the 7th day the 7th day you get the first anniversary banner. Oh right, you get the guaranteed 3-star by just logging in anytime, I think, right? Is that how it works? It might be, I forget. You log in at least once, it says so at the bottom. Right, so you just get the first anniversary banner, which assumably is the one you can see in like it's going to be something similar to the one you can see in the background in the top left here. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, and in the first anniversary pack, you can get a 3-star guaranteed deck extraction ticket, an identity takeoff ticket, and immediate access to the Angela Announcer for 2,500 paid lunacy, if you really want the Angela Announcer immediately. But yeah, identity takeoff ticket. They actually did show this apparently in the actual description for the trailer, but it just raises a single identity to Opti 4 and level 40. Which, yeah. I guess if you really want to buy that, you can get it. I don't know. It seems a little strange to me. And also, with Start Event, the first time offer purchase chance will be reset. So, if you know when you buy Lunacy for the first time, and it like basically is doubled for like each like different bundle, you'll be able to do that again, which is really nice, because I think I've gotten the bonus from all of them. Mostly because of the horrors of the first wall purchase night. But that's enough of that. Time to move on to the general patch notes. And we can see, update's going to be at a normal time, that sort of thing. New target extraction, adding the 3 new identities, the 2 new 3-stars and Kurokumo Kreger all together. Target extraction Hong Lu begins, if you really want a Hong Lu identity. New identities added. It's the ones from before. New event. Pack shop adjusted, there's a new section there. Adding a Hell's Chicken dungeon to make it more like the Mirror Dungeon 3. Yeah, normal-ish stuff. Bunch of bug fixing improvements. Funnily enough there, if you look near the bottom, identity title adjusted. Blade Lineage Cutthroat Otis has been promoted to Blade Lineage Salsu Otis. Congratulations on the promotion, Otis. You've been doing a great job. And by that, I mean, I don't think anyone likes Blade Lineage Otis too much, because she's not good. Actually, who knows? Maybe this all, like, Blade Lineage supporters can make Blade Lineage Otis good now that she's got a way to gain poise. Maybe. Stuff like running her with, like, Dawn and, like, Merso, I don't know. I think that's coping, but, like, she'll be better now, I guess. Known issues, some stuff is weird, certain folks encounters soft lock the game. BFX does not play for a certain identity in the Yelling Flesh game that ruins. I don't know if Warp Ryoshu of all things would be bugged here, but I guess her PXX are not going to work. If you're using Warp Ryoshu for some reason, instead of just throwing on Kurokuma Ryoshu for, like, support, if nothing else, I guess that's your bad. And 300 lunacy, as per usual. We love that free lunacy. But yeah, that is all. There's a lot to go through this time, because there's just so many new identities. Cool stuff, that's for sure. Merso especially just seems insane. But yeah, I'll be streaming the event as soon as the update goes live on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, whatever that is in your time zone. It's whenever the update comes out. So feel free to join in for that if you want to hang out during the event, see how it goes, that sort of thing. But anyways, that will be all for this time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!